Hello, this is Dr. Suresh Agarwal bringing to you the important topic of statistics. As we all know, statistics is normally concerned with numbers. Students at basic level, when they start learning statistics, they need to be aware of some basic concepts through which they can build up and have a firm foundation of this important topic. Because statistics, it starts at class 7th or grade 7th level, and it doesn't have an end. Even in class 11th and 12th you find that topic of statistics, and at higher level in students who are studying commerce, they study statistics to a very large extent, and statistics forms the basis of research also. Research statistics, so many tests of significance are there through which we compare the data, compare various characteristics of humans, whether it is psychological characteristic or historical data. We can compare all those using statistics. So statistics is one of the very important topics which finds applicability not only in mathematics, it also finds applicability in day-to-day life also. So for learning statistics, what we need to do is to understand what data is. Now when we talk of the term data, so I'll just enumerate the various terms, important terms that you need to be aware of. So the first term is data. When we talk of data, we talk of numerical data. That means anything which can be expressed in the form of numbers. When we collect data, we obtain a random collection of numbers. Like suppose I start weighing the students of class 9th of a school. Suppose there are 40 students and I start to measure the weights of those 40 students. So I'll have a collection of 40 numbers. The minimum might be say 25 kg, and the maximum might be 85 kg. So in between 25 to 85, we will have 38 more numbers, thereby giving us a collection of 40 numbers. So that is known as data. It can be the shirt size of a particular audience. The manufacturers of shirts, they conduct these type of studies to find out what shirt size is to be produced in bulk and which shirt size is very less common, so that they can plan their production. Everywhere data is involved, and without data no study can be possible. Census, the study of population, it involves huge amount of data of a country, and this data can be used to derive meaningful results. So numerical data is what statistics is all about. This numerical data can be raw. Now raw data. Raw data is basically data through which no direct results can be drawn. Suppose I write the weights of 500 students using commas. Then I ask you which student has the most common weight, or which weight is the most common one. So you will be spending hours and hours finding the answer to that particular question. That is difficult. So raw data does not enable us to derive any direct conclusion. No direct conclusion or result can be drawn from raw data. But the grouped data, this is more result oriented. Results can be drawn. So what we do here to study statistics is to first gather the raw data and then convert it into the form of a group data. So that conversion is very important because raw data in itself is meaningless if the data is huge. But if we have only the shirt size of suppose 10 students, then obviously some results can be derived. So in competitive exams and at school level, you study statistical techniques which involve very less data, which can be handled manually, not using computers or calculators, say about 10 values or 20 values maximum. At college level also you get that many values only. But when it comes to group data, you can have a collection of say 1000 values also, or for that matter 2000 or 5000 values also, because that is grouped, and when it is grouped the number of values does not matter. So that is really important, that why we convert raw data into group data, so that we can handle a large amount of data at a time. Now this data which can take only the whole number value, that is known as discrete data. That means only whole numbers, meaning that we cannot have fractions, we cannot have decimals, square roots, etc. Only the whole numbers, perfect numbers. So discrete data contains only whole number quantities, not the decimal quantities. The weights of students can be in decimals, but if we round that off to the nearest whole number and then express it as a part of our data, then it becomes a discrete data. What about the opposite of this, wherein we can have fractions and decimals also? That particular data is known as continuous data. So continuous data can have decimal values also. Just like I told you, the weights of persons, there can be a student having a weight of 35.4 kg. So all those values, if we take them in decimals also, then it is known as continuous data. Now once the data is gathered and we have commas in between all those values, the raw data, then there are some very important statistical terms which we all should be aware of. The first term is the range. Now what is range? Range of data is basically the difference between the highest value of a data and the lowest value of the data. I told you in the first example, there can be a student having a weight of 25 kg and there can be a student having a weight of 85 kg. So that is highest and the lowest. So what is the difference between the two? 85 minus 25, that is 60 kgs. That is known as the range of the data. So this is the difference between the highest and the lowest value. Highest and lowest values of a raw data. So suppose the highest is 85 and the lowest is 25, the same example, then the range of this data will be highest minus lowest, that is 85 minus 25, which comes out to be 60. Now why is range important? Range is important when we have to convert the raw data into the group data. The groups to be formed for converting the raw data into group data, that depends on the range of the data. So very important point for conversion of raw data into group data. Students of 8th and 9th class, they study how to make cumulative frequency table or a frequency table. We shall deal with what is frequency also, but the conversion of raw data into group data requires the knowledge of the range. And once you know the range, you can form groups or class intervals. Let's have some more terms associated with this particular topic. This is range. Now we will have another important topic, that is frequency. What is frequency? Now frequency, normally denoted by small f, sometimes observations can be too many and it becomes a very difficult and tedious task to arrange the terms in ascending or descending order. So suppose I have the weights of 500 students. Can I arrange them in ascending order? Very difficult. Descending order? Again very difficult. So it becomes a very tough task to arrange the raw data in a particular order. Now in that particular case, we have to count the number of times a particular observation occurs and then tabulate it. Like suppose the value 25, that is the minimum value, comes 3 times. The value 26 kg comes 7 times. The value 27 kg comes 10 times. The value 28 kg comes 9 times. Likewise, I tabulate how many times a particular value is coming in the data. So all these will add up to the total number of students 500, and this tabulated form, that is the number of times a particular value occurs in a data, is known as frequency of that particular value. So what is the frequency of 27 kg in the data? The frequency is 10 because the value 27 kg is coming 10 times out of 500. Likewise, we can have a value say 47 kg and that comes 111 times. So the frequency of 47 kg is 111. So very important uh, measure in statistics, frequency. And when we study statistics at higher level, we cannot just escape this term frequency. Frequency comes in each and every measure, each and every term which we will study in higher statistics, whether it be mean, median, mode, standard deviation, average deviation, or whatnot. Everywhere frequency comes in, and without frequency there is no statistics. So we need to very quickly grasp this concept, that how we find the frequency of a particular item. That is found out by just counting the number of times a value comes in a data. So that is frequency. So I hope that term is clear to you now. Another very important term is tally marks. Now, how do we count values? 500 values are there. And if I start counting how many times 27 is coming, then quite difficult. I'll give you one more example of this. Suppose I have a data in which I have measured, I have found out the blood groups of say about 200 people. So the blood groups A, B, AB, O. The 4 blood groups, I'm just taking it as a random measure, A, B, AB and O. So I started finding out the blood groups of 200 students and I found B, AB, A, O, B, AB, O. Randomly I get such values. I don't know what will be the blood groups, but it might be a sequence in which I start obtaining the blood groups. Now I want to find the frequency of the four blood groups A, B, AB and O. So if I start counting how many A's are there, I might commit an error here because I might omit or take an one value two times. And if such thing happens, entire work, entire, the kind of hard work which we have done goes waste. So in that case, we need to make the tally marks. And what are tally marks? See, this is the blood group A, B, AB, and O. I will make the tally marks before writing the frequency. So this will help me eliminate any error which might creep in due to counting. So the first value is B. So I will write a 1 here. Then it is AB. So I will write 1 here. A and A two times. So 1 and 1. O, 1. B, another 1. AB, another 1. O, another 1. So likewise, I will start putting the ones. So 2 B's, AB, 1. Now 3 O's. Now what happens when I have completed 4? Now when I start putting these lines, obviously the number of lines will be large. I might have 75 people with blood group AB. Then 75 lines will be very difficult to count, and that again will result in some errors. How do I eliminate that? How do I make the counting part simpler? So what I do here is I make groups of 5. How do I do that? Now I have 3 O's here. So already 2 ones are here. So 3 more. 1, 2. And the fifth line I put a cross like this so that this forms a group of 5. So now counting of O's will be very easy. 5 and another 5, another 5. How many 5s are there? That will give me the frequency. A very, very easy and compact method of finding the tally marks. So likewise, I will carry on with all the values A, and simultaneously I'll be putting crosses like this after every group of 5 like this. So I can have a number of groups of 5s, depends on how much data you are dealing with. Likewise, so I can go on and make the tally marks, and now counting will be very easy for me because 5 plus 5, 10 plus 2, 12, like this I can count and write the frequency. So writing frequency from tally marks is little bit easier than counting the values directly and writing the frequency. So just to eliminate the errors in making the frequency table, converting the raw data into group data, this concept of tally marks is going to come to your rescue. So I hope you have understood what are tally marks. Now after having understood what are tally marks, we need to understand another very, very important term, and that term is the term class intervals. Now when suppose I am having values with a very large range, the minimum is 25 and the maximum is 85, so the range of 60 is quite large. So how do I tackle data of such a large range? So what I do in this case is I will go for some class intervals. So I will not write all the values 25 starting from 25 kg, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. See, writing like this up to 85 will consume lot of space and so many values and then counting each value is a very tough task. This part can be done only when the total values here are less. Just like we had this blood group. Blood groups are only 4 here, so I can do it like this. But I can't do it like this if I have different values which is having a very large range. So 25 to 85, I can't write on all values. So I will group the values. I will write like this. 25 to 35, 35 to 45, 45 to 55, 55 to 65, 65 to 75, and 75 to 85. Now see, I have covered 25 to 85 all values. And now I will count the frequencies. That means how many values lie between 25 and 35. Then 35 to 45 and so on. So now my data will be more compact. Instead of writing a huge amount of data like this and large table, we will have a compact table, very small table representing the values. Here the frequencies can be like the total of frequencies obviously has to be the same 500, but here the number of rows were very large. Here there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 rows. So I can have 11 values here, 42 values here, 134 values here, 168 values here, and likewise I can find the frequencies, how many values lie between these particular two parts. So these are some of the terms. We have a large number of terms of statistics to understand, and once you understand all those terms, statistics will be very easy for you. So in my subsequent videos, I'll be taking up types of class intervals and then going on with more terms and more concepts so that you can understand statistics in a better way. So that's it for this video, and just wait for my next video which will be as informative as this one. Thanks for watching this.